The child, whom Adiratha Nandana had found in the golden chest, continued to grow under the loving care of Adiratha and his wife, Radha. The golden ornaments and jewelry from the chest had alleviated all of Adiratha's financial concerns, and soon he became one of the wealthiest men in the Sudha community. They named the boy Vasusena, and he was cherished by both his parents. Though raised as the son of a charioteer, Vasusena exhibited a deep fascination with the art of battle. Adiratha, however, harbored a constant fear for his son. The kavacha that was a part of Vasusena's body was no ordinary protection. It was a divine boon, and Adiratha worried that if anyone from the palace or someone connected to the royal family noticed this remarkable feature, they might feel threatened or envious. Fearing for his son's safety, he always ensured that the armor was concealed, advising Vasusena to never reveal it. Adiratha was perpetually anxious that someone would seek to harm his son out of jealousy or suspicion. He also instilled in Vasusena the importance of humility, repeatedly cautioning him never to speak against those of higher birth, such as kings and Brahmins. Yet, despite his father's teachings, Vasusena had a natural inquisitiveness, a questioning mind that constantly sought to understand the world around him. He would often ask, with genuine curiosity, why kings and Brahmins were considered superior to others. These questions deeply troubled Adiratha, who feared that if the wrong ears heard such inquiries, it could lead to dire consequences for his son. Vasusena's passion for archery was evident from an early age. He would craft bows and arrows from tree branches, not only practicing the skill himself, but also teaching his friends. Though his armor was concealed beneath his clothing, his golden earrings were always visible, gleaming and swaying, capturing the attention of everyone around him. As a result, the villagers quickly took notice of him and began calling him Karna, meaning earrings. His agility and activeness, along with his striking golden earrings, made him well known in the community. Over time, the name Karna became so prominent that many people were unaware of his real name. The fathers of his friends would often praise Vasusena to Adiratha, marveling at the boy's natural talent, remarking how he, without guidance, was able to craft his own weapons and train others. Though Adiratha outwardly responded with pride, internally he was filled with dread. He warned Vasusena countless times to stop practicing archery, going so far as to break or hide the bows his son made. Yet Vasusena, driven by his unyielding love for the art, would always find a way to craft another bow and continue his practice in secret. Karna, driven by an innate passion for archery, began to devise his own methods. He practiced relentlessly, mastering techniques such as shooting moving targets with precision and calculating his shots by gauging the wind's direction and intensity. His friends, astounded by Karna's natural prowess, marveled at the ease with which he shared his insights with them, further cementing his reputation as a prodigy. As Karna's interest in archery grew, so did his ambition. He ventured deep into the forests, honing his skills by hunting swift animals like rabbits and deer. His goal was not the kill itself, but the challenge of hitting fast-moving creatures with accuracy. His friends often urged him to bring the hunted animals home, where they could showcase his talents to the neighbors, earning admiration for his remarkable abilities at such a young age. However, Karna refused. He knew that if his father, Adiratha, discovered his secret archery practices, It would invite unwanted scrutiny. He was determined to keep his newfound skills hidden, avoiding any confrontation that might arise from his father's fear of him aspiring beyond his social rank. Thus he continued practicing in silence, driven by a passion that burned brighter with each passing day. Adiratha's fear for his son deepened over time as he watched Vasusena's skills flourish. He knew that if those of highborn, such as the kings, became aware of a warrior of such extraordinary talent emerging from the Sudakula, they might not accept him due to his lower birth. This realization brought Adiratha greater worry than pride, as he feared that Vasusena's abilities could attract hostility and bring more danger than honor. The grand marriage of Devaki and Vasudeva was arranged by Devaka with immense grandeur, and invitations were sent far and wide throughout the kingdom. Feudatories from all Yadava clans attended the auspicious ceremony, with both Kamsa and Ugrasena present, adding to the splendor. The occasion was nothing short of magnificent, filled with joy, blessings, and celebrations. After the marriage rites, Kamsa, in a gesture of personal involvement, chose to drive the chariot himself to escort Devaki and Vasudeva back to Mathura. As the chariot moved along, a strange shift in the atmosphere took place. Dark clouds began to gather, and the sky grew ominously dim, as though a storm was about to break. Strange whispers echoed through the air, faint and indecipherable, sending a chill down their spines. All three heard the whispers, yet none could understand their meaning. The eerie sound of tinnitus filled their ears, unsettling them further. Kamsa, sensing something unnatural, halted the chariot. The winds howled, but soon even the gusts and thunder ceased, leaving a heavy silence in the air. It was then that a voice, clear and unmistakable, resounded from nowhere. A celestial Akashavani, the voice spoke with unwavering clarity, foretelling Kamsa's doom, that the eighth son born to Devaki shall be the cause of Kamsa's death and will be his destroyer. The weight of this prophecy struck the three like a bolt of lightning. Kamsa, consumed by sudden terror, felt an overwhelming sense of dread wash over him. His fear quickly transformed into uncontrollable rage. In a moment of fury, he unsheathed his sword, his eyes wild with panic and wrath. Grabbing Devaki by her hair, he raised his blade, intent on ending her life then and there, believing that by killing her, he could prevent the prophecy from ever coming true. Vasudeva, horrified by Kamsa's sudden rage, immediately dropped to the ground, clasping Kamsa's feet in a desperate plea for mercy. With great humility and urgency, he silently implored Kamsa to reconsider his actions, conveying through his gestures that it was not Devaki who posed the threat to Kamsa's life, but rather the prophecy concerning her eighth born. Vasudeva, with all the sincerity of a husband, offered a solemn vow. Each child born to them would be handed over to Kamsa to do with as he wished. His only plea was for the life of Devaki to be spared. Kamsa, still shaken by the prophecy but moved by Vasudeva's desperate plea, began to calm. Slowly, the fury in his eyes diminished, and he withdrew his sword. Reluctantly, he agreed to spare Devaki's life, but only under harsh conditions that every child born to Vasudeva and Devaki would be handed over to him for execution. Furthermore, to ensure his safety, Kamsa imposed another condition that both Vasudeva and Devaki would remain under his strict control, confined as though in house arrest. Though the immediate threat had passed, the ominous prophecy weighed heavily on Kamsa's mind, casting a long, dark shadow over the future. Asti gently questioned her husband's recent actions. She knew well the affection Kamsa held for his sister Devaki, yet he had raised his sword against her and confined her within the palace walls. Asti could not understand how he could house arrest someone he loved. However, Prapti quickly countered Asti's concerns. She argued that if Kamsa allowed his love for his sister to weaken him, they both might lose their husband to the prophecy. Though both were born to Jarasandha and married to Kamsa, the sisters had completely contrasting mindsets. Prapti fully supported Kamsa's decision to house arrest Vasudeva and Devaki, while Asti remained opposed to such extreme measures. Despite the harshness of his actions, Kamsa's heart softened when it came to his sister. He commanded Asti to ensure Devaki was well taken care of, her every need fulfilled, and to treat her with the respect she deserved. His conflicting emotions were evident, torn between the prophecy and his familial bonds. Nanda heard the distressing news of Vasudeva and Devaki's house arrest. Saddened, he shared the news with his wife Yashoda, who felt deep sorrow for the couple. Yashoda, too, had been childless for many years despite her marriage, and had once taken a heartfelt promise from Devaki that one of Devaki's children would be given to her to raise as her own. Knowing the gentle nature of Vasudeva and Devaki, Yashoda prayed fervently to the gods, hoping that such innocent souls would not face the cruel fate of losing their children to Kamsa's fear. Rohini, the first wife of Vasudeva, fled to Nanda's house in Gaukula, fearing that danger would inevitably come to her from Kamsa. Nanda and Yashoda were relieved that Rohini had escaped the palace and was now safe with them. As days passed, Devaki gave birth to her first son. Yet, instead of the joy a new mother should feel, her heart was heavy with sorrow, knowing that she must surrender her child to be killed by her brother. She wept in despair as Vasudeva took their newborn son and, true to his promise, began the journey to Kamsa's chambers. Meanwhile, Padmavati, Kamsa's mother, became aware of the dreadful events unfolding. Rushing to her husband Ugrasena, she informed him of what was happening. Ugrasena, who had been unaware of Kamsa's actions until now, was outraged. Without delay, he stormed into Kamsa's chambers just as his son was about to kill the infant. His voice thundered across the room as he commanded Kamsa to stop immediately. Kamsa, shocked by his father's sudden appearance, froze. Ugrasena berated his son, reminding him of the disgrace he had brought upon himself. He called Kamsa a baby killer, the most loathsome title any ruler could bear. He warned that killing newborns out of fear for his own life was nothing but a cowardly act. Kamsa tried to explain his actions to Ugrasena, claiming that if he didn't kill the child, the prophecy would come true and he would be slain by Vasudeva's son. But Ugrasena was furious at his son's stupidity. Rebuking him, for believing in some ethereal voice and taking such monstrous actions against his own family. With authority, Ugrasena, as king, threatened to imprison and punish Kamsa if he dared to harm the child. Having no choice, Kamsa reluctantly spared the infant's life. However, he declared that since the prophecy spoke of his death at the hands of the eighth son, he would not kill the first 7 children, but the eighth would be delivered to him for execution. Vasudeva and Devaki, despite the grim circumstances, felt immense relief that their firstborn was spared. Ugrasena, however, was not finished. He criticized Kamsa once more, warning him that as long as he lived, he would never allow any harm to come to Devaki's children. Kamsa, realizing that his father would never permit him to kill Vasudeva's children, fell into deep thought, plotting his next move.